Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm creating this Halloween makeup look, and I wanted to come up with something that was really versatile and could be worn with a variety of Halloween costumes that were sexy yet spooky at the same time. So something like a sexy vampire, a sexy mummy, sexy zombie, you know, because all of us want to be like a little sexy on Halloween, I think. And I do have two other solid ideas for Halloween makeup tutorials here on my channel. I'm not gonna lie though, it took me a while this year to come up with some inspiration. I was struggling there for a moment, but I finally have these two ideas that I wanna do, and I would have filmed them for this week, but I didn't wanna rush a tutorial that was meant to be really detailed and intricate, so I decided to hold off a bit for those tutorials and do this one instead because it is so versatile, and who doesn't wanna look sexy on Halloween? So if you guys are interested and wanna see how I create this look, keep on watching. So I always said I would never be caught wearing a funky headband here on my channel, but it is Halloween and we gotta get festive. And Pure just so happened to send this really cute PR package that had these cat ears in there. So I'm gonna use this to hold back my flyaways, and it's actually really cute, so why not, right? I'm gonna go ahead and start with the skin. I'm probably gonna regret this later because the eye look is really dark and smoky, but fingers crossed it all goes well. To prime my skin, I'm going to be using my rose water and glycerin spray from Heritage Store. I picked this up at Urban Outfitters, but apparently you can get it at Whole Foods as well. The glycerin is what's going to give your skin that tacky feel and make your foundation adhere a little better. So I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a spritz of this spray. And then you just want to let it dry before you go in with foundation. For foundation today, I'm going to be using my ANASTASIA foundation stick in the shade Warm Natural. I really like this foundation because of the coverage, and on my skin it looks really flawless, especially when I have like little breakouts. I tend to use less concealer with a fuller coverage foundation. I'm also lightly running this over the eyes, not so much on the lid, but on the brow bone, because I'm not going to use an eyeshadow base. I'm just going to be using a black cream eyeshadow. And then to conceal and highlight, I'm using my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Light. And that foundation and concealer pretty much covered any imperfection minus this guy right here. So I'm going to use my Mercier Secret Camouflage to cover it up. I'm cleaning up any areas that are creasing before setting with powder, and then for the highlighted areas, I'm using my Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, and on the rest of the face, I'm using my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Powder in the shade Medium. And I'm not going to use a bronzer because I don't really want to warm up the skin. I want everything to look pretty pale and gauntly, even though I didn't use a lighter foundation or anything like that. So instead of using a bronzer, I'm only going to use a contouring powder. I'm using the Sculpting Powder by KEVYN in the shade Light. So it's going to chisel and define my face without actually adding any warmth. And then to make our bone structure look really defined, I'm adding a ton of contouring powder along the jawline. And you can also add it right here along the sides really lightly with whatever's left over on your brush to give that, you know, kind of look. I don't know if there's a word for it, but just... All right, I'm going to go ahead and work on the eyes and just hope that I don't mess up my foundation. The first thing I'm going to do is use a black cream eyeshadow as a base to make sure that the eyes come out really dark, especially closest to the lash line. I'm using the Mercier Caviar stick in Tuxedo. This stuff really doesn't crease. If you want another option or a cheaper option, the NYX Jumbo eyeshadow sticks work well, but they do crease. However, for a Halloween look and for that grungy effect, I like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this closest to the lash line on top and on bottom, and I'm just going to blend it out afterwards. Also, you guys, don't worry about it being perfect because the shadows are going to help blend this out. It's going to look crazy at first. And also, feel free to use less black on the lower lash line if you don't feel comfortable doing that. But I am going for a really blown out, grungy, dead sort of look, which is why I'm going to add a ton of black underneath the eyes. So now I'm just going to go ahead and set this with a black eyeshadow. I'm using Makeup Geek's Corrupt eyeshadow, which to me is still the blackest eyeshadow out there. It's so good. So I'm just going to go ahead and pack that on top and on the lower lash line. And if you are the kind of person that loves doing your foundation before eyeshadow and always get fallout, the best way to help prevent it is to slowly build on the color, so add a little bit of shadow at a time, and also use little patting motions versus swiping it aggressively on the lid. That'll reduce the amount of fallout you get. I took a little intermission to eat some pizza. Hopefully there isn't sauce on my face somewhere that I'm not noticing right now. And to continue on with this look, if you're looking like a panda, you're on the right track. Now I'm just going to use a bunch of different colors to make this really smoked out, grungy, and almost like the color of a bruise. So the first color I'm going to use is by Makeup Geek. All the shadows I'm using are pretty much Makeup Geek. And this is Early Bird. This is one of their newest launches, and I'm just going to apply this to the crease. I'm also applying this color to the lower lash line, and I'm going really, really low with my eyeshadow. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, keep it tighter to the lower lash line, but I'm going to exaggerate the smoky eye for a really, really grungy look. The next color I'm using is Blazing by Anastasia, and I'm just going to pile that on top of the other colors and work it into the crease. And then I'm going back in with the black eyeshadow to blend it out, because you can see right here, you can see where it ends and we don't want to see that. So I'm just picking up some of that black eyeshadow and blending it out. The messier with this look, the better, honestly. Don't try and make it perfect. And now I'm just grabbing a clean blending brush and blending out the edges. I'll also go back in and pick up some more of that Early Bird eyeshadow, the orange one, to help blend it out and give it more of that orange tone to it, because you can see when you blend it out, it sort of disappears. And I really like the way the orange pops in this look, so I can just grab a little more of that and use that to blend it out, and you can see it adds a nicer effect to the look. And also, instead of doing an inner corner highlight, which you can do if you want, I'm going to just blend the eyeshadows into that inner corner for a really dead look. And then using a large fluffy brush, this is literally called the Large Fluff brush from Luxie, I'm picking up some more of that MAC Mineralized Skin Finish powder that I used to set the rest of my face, and I'm using that to blend out the edges, because right now they were looking a little harsh, and you want it to look like the colors just disappear to the rest of your skin. You don't want to see where they end. And especially this inner corner, it was looking really sharp, so we're just diffusing it. Adding some more of that orange. It's a really messy look, and honestly, just don't overthink it if you are going to recreate it, don't overthink it, just go for it. Especially, like, think of like Jack Sparrow. This is like a very Jack Sparrow eye look. I'm also going back in and picking up some more of that red eyeshadow, Blazing, or Blazin, from Anastasia. And one last final time, I'm adding some more black shadow so that it doesn't look gray and it looks really dark. And then that is it with the eyeshadows. So now you just want to fill in the waterline to make it look black all the way around and super grungy. So I'm using the L'Oreal SILKISSEME liner. I find that this is really black and fluid, so it allows you to also apply it a little past the lash line to really blend it out into the rest of the eyeshadow. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this. And clearly my eyebrows are a mess with all that blending, so I'm just going to comb through them with Gimme Brow by Benefit. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually fill them in. I might just stick with this brow gel and that's it, depending on how I feel afterwards. I'm also not going to be using any lashes. Feel free to use them if you want to, but because the look is so dark, I feel like the lashes get lost in the eyeshadow anyway, so I'm just going to load up on some mascara. I'm using the WONDERWAND mascara by CIATÉ. And after that, looking at my brows, I feel like they do need a little more help on the ends, so I'm just going to add some of my Anastasia Brow Wiz to the ends of the brows to make them a little more fierce. Maybe a little bit on top too. And that completes the eyes, and I'm just going to go ahead and finish the rest of the look. Again, you can skip blush because I feel like blush makes you look really lively and happy, and we're going for that dead theme here, so you can skip blush. I kind of like the way this looks as is, but if you do want blush, use one that is really taupey and doesn't have an orange or red undertone. You want something that's really muted. I'm using this one by Sigma called In the Saddle, and it's like a really nice taupey brown color, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that. So now for the lip, you can either go super, super nude, like concealer lips nude, or you can go with a super deep red, almost like an oxblood. I'm gonna go with the deep red. I feel like that's more of like a vampire look. I'm using 666, knock on wood, by Melt Cosmetics, and they spelled it 6 spelled out, and then 6. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add this lip color. Alright guys, that completes this tutorial. Let me know if this is a makeup look that you would wear with one of your Halloween costumes this year, because honestly, I feel like for the most part, or at least me, I like to be a little sexy on Halloween, not so much spooky, but this is a good middle ground if you want to wear a sexy costume but be a little scary. So yeah, let me know if this is something that you would recreate, and if you do recreate it, definitely tag me so I can see your guys' work this Halloween. Again, like I mentioned, I do have some other Halloween tutorials coming up, so stay tuned for that. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on them. Bye guys.